test the audio. Do some talking.
Hello, I hope to see you too.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Quispy Flicks. If you're new, we review movies and TV shows. If that's to your taste, give us a subscribe and check out all our other stuff. We think you'll enjoy it. In this one, we are reviewing, in my opinion, as a non-Star Wars fan, the best thing that I've seen to come out of Star Wars. I don't know what you think.
I think it's absolutely amazing. Okay, so first I want to talk about where Star Wars was before The Mandalorian came out.
Mm-hmm.
So in recent years, Star Wars as a fandom, or as like a community of fans, has just been really divided.
Oh yeah.
Under Disney's rule, the Star Wars IP has become something very strange, and it's caused a lot of contention, and it's really rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, the way that this beloved, established property has been handled by Disney. Pretty much the only thing that hasn't divided people in recent years about Star Wars is Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series. And that's about the only thing people have liked about Star Wars collectively in a long time. The Mandalorian, directed by Jon Favreau, has come along onto the Disney Plus streaming service, and I gotta say, it claps some serious ass.
Oh, it claps so much ass, and just to mention, it wasn't just Jon Favreau that directed it. There was a few directors that directed different.
It was mostly his vision.
So I watched this as a non-fan of Star Wars, and even I was like, "This is fucking cool."
Yeah, I mean, everybody has seen the toys of the Baby Yoda, so I'm not going to feel guilty about just explaining a little bit about what the premise of the plot is. The overall show is in the style of a spaghetti western, which means that each episode is kind of its own thing, and there's a very loose narrative connecting all of these episodes together throughout. And it's really about the Mandalorian, who is given a contract by the remnants of the Empire to collect this package, if you will. Little does he know, he finds out the package is a baby of Yoda's species. And
not to be confused with actual baby Yoda. It isn't Yoda as a baby.
Okay, so it takes place from in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, and it's really just about the Mandalorian finding this baby Yoda, and how is he going to deal with it, and all the people that are interested in it, and sort of vetting for this quite powerful child. It's really just about how this story kind of unfolds. This series, as a Star Wars fan that's been kind of disenfranchised with the whole thing, has kind of made me excited about Star Wars again in a way that the new trilogy hasn't. It does everything right. So much of it is practical effects. The aliens in the series are they all look so real, and you really get that nostalgic feeling that you got when the first time you saw the Mos Eisley Cantina on Tatooine again. It's just fantastic, especially on the Mandalorian's armor. He looks badass.
Oh, he looks cool. He looks cool as fuck, man. He looks really awesome.
We won't spoil it for anyone, but his look does change and it gets even cooler throughout the course of the series. But we'll leave that to you to sort of look at. I just found it to be really heartfelt as well.
There's actually growth with the Mandalorian, because he's kind of like I only care for myself. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way that Mandalorians are trained, isn't it? Just to think like, get the job done, get out of there, don't think about anyone apart from the job. And it kind of, when the Baby Yoda comes along, he's kind of thinking, do I give it to them? Like, what are they going to do with it? What are they going to use it for? Is it for good? Is it for evil? Am I doing the right thing? And it kind of just, adds a bit more depth to a Mandalorian character, where they're normally just like heartless missionaries or whatever they are.
Bounty hunters,
Yeah, bounty hunters, that's the one. As a non-Star Wars fan, it gets you invested into the kind of Star Wars lore that's around it.
And it's just the variety of kinds of stories that we've got. You know, we've got some stories that include like side characters, such as another like rebel resistance fighter that comes along, and she's great.
Quill.
Mace, probably. Yeah, Quill. Quill is amazing. He's such a great side character.
I love him. I have spoken.
Instantly quotable.
I have spoken. 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 I have spoken.
Instantly, like, 'cause he said it once, and me and you didn't know that it was going to be his little catchphrase, and we actually said, I hope that this is like his thing, and it was his thing. He kept saying it, and every time we were like, yes, he said it. Another side character that we haven't talked about, man, and it was my favourite.
IG-11.
IG-11. Oh my god. I'm going to put up the clip where we first see him in action. It is fucking awesome. My hands were on my head, my mouth was open, I was speechless. I was like, what? This is so cool. And this is like the first 1 or 2 episodes in where you see him, and it's like, oh my god. And even Mando's like, oh shit, it's a aim, whatever the fuck it's called, but even he's
an assassin droid.
Yeah, that's the one. And even he's like kind of scared of it, which kind of made me feel like, oh, okay, then let's see what he's got. And then you see what he's got, and it's like, wow. But not only that, though. No, but not only that, how his arc ends, it's really emotional, and they do a really good job of making you feel for a droid which has no feeling. You know, this droid doesn't really give 2 shits about what happens, and I've never really felt like that about a droid in any film or series.
Not even R2.
No, I mean, C-3PO maybe, but I mean, that's only because C-3PO's used as kind of like
comic relief.
Yeah, comic relief. But with this, he's actually got a bit of something to him. You know, he's useful, rather than C-3PO just walking around cracking a few one-liners every now and again.
Yeah.
This droid is
he's
useful.
Actually practical.
Yeah, very, very practical.
And I just want to get into the combat and the fighting in this in this series. Absolutely amazing. Like, there were points where I was just like staring open-mouthed as I was watching this. I couldn't believe it, because the Mandalorians, in concept, they've been bigged up to be like a walking like artillery platform. They've got so many gadgets and they've got so many weapons, right? But we never really get to see them use them. Like, we've had Boba Fett, who just kind of ambiguously stands in the backgrounds of scenes and then falls
also
into
dies,
a big pit. Yeah. And then we kind of had it with Jango Fett, but then, you know, he got killed in Attack of the Clones. But in this, we get to see why Mandalorians are kind of almost feared as much as Sith and Jedi by the wider galaxy.
They are notoriously known for being like just brute forces, and this really does show that.
Yeah, I read the expanded universe, I read a lot of the books, and it's never been done right in like terms of a movie, but this hit the nail on the head. And you know, like you said, it really got into the Mandalorian lore, like their actual culture and their belief systems and stuff like that. And if you've only ever watched the films, you're never going to really get a bigger picture of what Boba Fett or Jango Fett were.
I had no idea why Boba Fett was such a big thing. Like, I just saw him on screen and he died, and I always hear people rave about how cool of a character he is, but I never actually understood why. And then I watched this and I'm like, this is probably why then, because they are fucking cool. They're really cool, and they're not just cool to watch fight. The whole background is really interesting to read into, and it's explored really well in this series.
Another thing I want to talk about is this isn't focused on a Jedi.
It's such a nice new take on the Star Wars universe, where the fight scenes aren't Force lightsabers. There's no fancy flips and lightsabers flinging around. It isn't like a picture perfect fight scene, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a very nice change of pace for the Star Wars universe, where up until this point, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't watched any of the series, but it's been mostly based on Jedis, I would imagine.
Yeah, mostly. It's getting a bit tedious now for me as a fan of Star Wars, because Jedi are just overpowered. Especially
in this new one with like Rey, you know, like even as a non-Star Wars fan, I've seen all of the new ones, and even I thought Rey's just ridiculously overpowered. And she picks up Luke's lightsaber, and it said, "Oh, the lightsaber has chosen you," like it's some sort of Harry Potter wand.
No, there's none of this in this series. It exists almost apart from all of that. It's more reminiscent of a good spaghetti western, like an old Clint Eastwood film about a lonely gunslinger, traveling across dusty planets to pick up a bounty and to hunt somebody down. And it shows that he's vulnerable as well. Because the Mandalorian does get hurt in this series. He does take a few hits, and that makes you worry about him. There's stakes. Yeah? He can't just block everything with a lightsaber. He doesn't have one. He's put into some really tight spots, and you genuinely are worried about the character. I just want to touch upon briefly how good Pedro Pascal's performance of the Mandalorian actually is.
Yeah. The way he says his lines, the way he, because you can't see his face, so it's almost like you have to read what he's feeling through how he's standing, or how he's
posture and head tilts.
His head tilts, and he's able to do it so well, and you know exactly how the Mandalorian is feeling at any moment in time without seeing his face. It's really good.
I mean, through most of the series, he doesn't really talk too much, but that's what's great about it. He's left as an ominous character, and even though we do get a little bit of insight into his backstory every now and again, we don't really know all that much about him, so it leaves it open for future series to sort of explore that.
I'm really excited for season 2. I really can't wait. It's
me neither, and we're definitely going to be reviewing it all. And is there any criticisms you had of it? No, because for me, I'm not a fan. I don't really read into it too much. I just went in, kind of blind to the whole background of everything. So I really enjoyed it. But there's one thing that you brought up, which you said that has never been a thing in terms of Star Wars. This is a potential spoiler, so I
will put up a timestamp where to mute and where to unmute. If you don't want to know, if you're not bothered, then just watch anyway. But go on.
Okay, so there is a scene, multiple scenes in this actually, where characters are hurt and Baby Yoda is close by, and Baby Yoda is powerful in the Force for a baby, but then proceeds to heal these characters with nothing but the Force. That isn't a thing. That is never that isn't a thing at all. It's never been a thing. If it was a thing, then think about it. There's been so many Sith Lords that have spent centuries, thousands of years trying to figure out how to actually bring themselves back from the dead and heal themselves with the power of the Force. And whilst you can accelerate healing with the Force, you can't stop somebody dying from it.
Yeah, isn't there? And you've said like when like Sith can do something where they change their body into a new body. What's that called?
That's called essence transfer. That's the closest thing they've ever come to becoming immortal. But it only works. It's only really been done on a handful of occasions. But this is just straight up. Oh, you're about to die? Nope.
Nope, because the plot needs you.
Yeah, and I didn't like that at all. It ignores a lot of the things that are canon. It makes a lot of things redundant, like some Sith Lords. They're really powerful, so powerful. And well, why didn't they use that? Yeah. They were more powerful than a baby. I think that's it for me discussing that spoiler section. So
on mute here.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. And I think my only other criticism is I would have liked to see some more diverse like areas for the plot to go in. I mean, we had a little bit of variety. We're going to a different planet here and a space station there, but I felt like a lot of it was really just contained to the first planet that we see. Yeah. And it would have been nice to see somewhere like Coruscant, which is a sprawling super city, but I understand maybe they didn't have the budget to do that just yet, with this being the first season.
They definitely will now, though.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Another huge spoiler for the very end of the series coming up right now.
Oh,
skip to this point if you don't want to hear it. Do you want to take it away, man, since you are the Star Wars fan of the group?
So right at the end of the series, we see that the main antagonist has crashed his ship, and we think that he's dead because the Mandalorian has effectively blown him out of the sky. But right at the last possible second, he cuts his way out of the ship with the fucking darksaber.
And I knew that this was coming.
And I was saying to Mason, I was like, oh yeah, it's really cool because there's actually this Mandalorian artifact called the darksaber. And he knew about it the whole time and I had no clue. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my god.
Jacob said all this prior to watching even the first episode, and I was thinking, you're in for a treat, my friend. You just wait until the final episode.
Yeah, and it's so cool because the darksaber is actually an invention of a Mandalorian, the only Mandalorian, in fact, that actually successfully became a Jedi.
Yeah.
But the Jedi Order were like, oh no, this lightsaber is too grim. And basically, the Darksaber has got a really bloody history of just people killing each other to get it. And to actually see it, it's such a weird looking lightsaber. It's different to any other lightsaber. Yeah. Solid black, it's got a hilt like a combat knife.
Yeah, it's it kind of looks like a samurai sword, doesn't it? It's like got an actual blade to it. It's really fucking cool.
And to see where this is going to go in season 2, to see how the Mandalorian's going to react to seeing the main antagonist wielding this, it's going to be really, really interesting. Shall we get into final thoughts then?
Yep, final thoughts. As always, you can go first because you are the best with words.
The Mandalorian series is unlike anything Star Wars related that's come out recently. It is an absolute triumph in both writing and design. The creators of this show knew exactly what they wanted to make and executed it nearly flawlessly. John Favreau, what a guy. He's clearly a fan. He's clearly done all the research. And the end result is something I think that will satisfy pretty much every hardcore fan. And, it'll also be a welcome treat to newcomers as well. And for all of these reasons, I'm giving The Mandalorian a 10 out of 10.
Ooh!
Yep.
Damn, man. Damn. I wasn't seeing that coming. As a non-Star Wars fan myself, like Jacob said, it's a very good way of welcoming new fans in. Like you said, it'll satisfy hardcore fans, non-hardcore fans. The action's fantastic. You can tell, like you said, you can tell that Jon Favreau is a fan, and it's really nice to see a director and writer or directors, sorry, that really enjoy what they're directing, and you can tell it's not just another corporate scheme to make money. Yeah, like all the MCU movies, or the live action movies, or whatever. It's really nice to see, and I will give it a solid 9 out of 10, which I think a 9 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 would give it the certified Quispy rating. There you go, Disney Plus. Get that on your streaming site. Certified Quispy. People will just go for it, I'll tell you.
Thank us later.
That was our review of The Mandalorian. A solid series. I cannot wait for season 2. And we are going to absolutely shag that series in one day. If you're new, subscribe, give us a like, leave a cheeky comment if you like. It'll help this very small channel grow. Instagram link down below if you want to check out our Instagram. We're actually posting more personal posts now. We're giving a face to the Instagram page rather than just facts, clips and shit like that. Stay tuned for more videos.
See you later, guys.
See you in a bit. Goodbye.